And you're very welcome to this bonus edition of the Town End podcast. We said we'd just do something live maybe for the Europa Conference League draw, which is due to take place in only a few short minutes. So the only guys available today was myself and Pingu. Pingu, how are you, pal? Are you there, Pingu? Looks like it could be just me on this one, guys. Till I get Pingu sorted. It's definitely just me now for the moment. So we'll hopefully be able to bring in the draw live, which was on the screen as the teams are coming in. So I suppose yesterday we have Pingu.
Hello, can you hear me
That
now?
must be some walk you're going for, pal. You ran out of coverage and all journey.
I don't know what happened. Yeah, no, I was busy. I was talking to see if I could get the new manager's job.
I was going to say we might as well do this bumper edition. Like normally you could do this just for maybe a draw, but it's not like there's any other news going around Oriel of late, is there?
Exactly. Well, that's it. I said yesterday we'll do a short 20-minute live episode, but this could be our longest yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Come here. If this is the 2-hour special, pal, I'm already at work here. So I'm gonna have to go home at some stage.
Yeah.
So I was just explaining, Pingu, that we'll have the draw live on screen here with everybody else, and we'll just try to do a bit of a watch along with that. But just before we go through, there's nothing seems to be started on the draw just yet. So people can text in who I suppose they wouldn't mind us getting in the draw. We'll have a quick look at the teams that we can draw as well before the draw is actually made. So Pingu, last few days in Oriel, how would you describe that?
The same as every other week in Oriel this season. Look, it's all madness, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I said it on the podcast the other night before you come on, Chris. It was Vinny, then it wasn't Vinny, then it was Dave, then it wasn't Dave, then it was Dave and Vinny, then it was Jim and Vinny, then it was Jim and Dave. It's anybody's guess still, but it seemed yesterday like obviously everything was a done deal with Dave, and he was getting the role and he was coming in as the manager and not the assistant manager, and
yeah.
Then just at the 11th hour now, it looks as though it's going to be Vinny. Who he brings in with him, or whether he's able to bring anyone in with him, is anybody's guess. But I mean, it's just we can't even get a manager appointment right. It's a shambles.
And this is part of the issues, isn't it? Like, and it seems to be all drawn out in the public domain as well. This is an issue that we should have got sorted, 8 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was that Filippo and Shane stood down. We should have had an immediate appointment. In particular, I think if the board decide with Vinny, there was no reason we couldn't have gone for Vinny before then.
Yeah. But I mean, look at how is it going to look on the club now, even just bringing Vinny back? And this is nothing against Vinny, but It's like, why sack him in the first place if you're only going to bring him back less than a year later? It's beggars belief. It doesn't make any sense. And I don't know if we'd be in this position that we're in now if Vinny had just stayed in the role. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and then from Dave Rogers' perspective, it seems like he's just been kept on the long finger all along in case Vinny didn't happen.
Yeah, and look, Chris, obviously Dave's a good friend of the show, and we've been chatting with him and that. And I think had anyone who's listened to the podcast episode that Dave was on earlier in the season, he talks a very, very good game. I'd make you excited about the club again. He's someone that I go in, and I think it would be a very, very strong. Like in the current situation, I think it would be a very, very strong appointment. And I know for a fact that Dave wants the job, doesn't want to just do it to take a wage. He wants to be the manager of Dundalk Football Club. He sees this as a challenge to kind of reignite everything. And I feel very sorry for him. Now, I do think he'd be mad to go in there in current circumstances, and I've told him that. If it was me, I don't know if I'd go in there, but I do think at some point he'll be the man for the job, And I was hoping when I heard that it was getting close, I was happy for him. And
Yeah.
And I think he would make a difference too. Like that's the thing. I think he'd motivate the players. We said it again on Friday night that what the players are lacking is that motivation at the minute.
Yeah.
Like that's something they're clearly lacking, and I think he would be the man to bring it in. And the speculations to be believed that there's those players falling out with Vinny. I just don't see it being this miraculous appointment, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's it. Like, I think for if we bring it back down to the most basic levels, I think at this stage the players badly need to know exactly who's in charge and who's in charge until a certain time, whether it's Vinny or Dave till the end of this season. At least that's a definite, and we can do something. We'd all hope that the appointment is longer than that, because we need to start thinking long term about this club again. As I think a lot of decisions have been made with a short term view as the priority, and that's, with regards like players' contracts, only 1 year. We've only got 3 players, 1 senior player technically, for next year. So like that sort of short term mentality has got us into this scenario too.
It has, yeah, but I don't even think the appointment of either man is going to change that short term approach. Hopefully they'll get a job that'll be guaranteed for 6 months, but
yeah,
you don't even know how things are running. If a manager comes in and doesn't perform in 3 or 4 or 5 games, are they going to be out the door again too? It's just everything. It's just a very, very weird situation that the club is in.
Yeah, it sounds like we're going to be on a merry-go-round for managerial appointments.
Yeah.
For the next wee while. As I said, it could just be as a stopgap till the end of the season, or it could be a window of opportunity for someone to stake their claim maybe for after this season for the job as well. We don't know what the board are thinking, and we'd scared to do that as well.
Yeah.
I think looking to the draw today, Pingu, we got it narrowed down to the teams who we could possibly face in the draw today. Did you have a look at them yourself? What are you thinking?
I had a little look at them. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I would like to draw the Welsh team.
New turn.
Again, when you look at all the talk about money and money not being brought into budgets and things like that, the shortest trip's probably the best. The one that's going to cost the least money is probably the best. But
yeah,
look, on current form, you don't fancy us against anybody. And I hate to say that, because as I said, there's talented players in the squad. We're just not playing as a team, and I suppose that Newtown is probably the team that I'd like to draw and hopefully scrape through that and build a bit of momentum and get forward into the next round.
Yeah, and we're seeded for every round that we are in for the next 3 till it gets to the playoff ones as well. So technically, we're in a decent position if we were to get that far.
Yeah, and I think then, once you get to that playoff round, you're guaranteed. I think it's $1 million, isn't it? Like between all four.
Yeah, I think it's something like that
together. Yeah, and hopefully you'd be hoping then you get a big tie against the likes of a Tottenham or Roma or someone like that there, and at least a game like that we could play it at the Aviva and get some money into the club.
Yeah, Damien Smith saying there, I'd say most of the clubs will want to play Dundalk. I think they're going on our current form.
Yeah,
that's probably a fair shout. Teams we want to avoid, I presume the Macedonians would be the strongest team out there that we could possibly get drawn. I don't know too much. So here's FC Struga, who is the team from North Macedonia. So they finished 3rd in their league last year, 18 points behind their leaders. They were their capacity ground is only 500. They've no real European pedigree so far, so it's hard to see how they might compete in Europe. But you would say they're probably the strongest team that we could face. Would you say?
Yeah, you would think so. It's any of those Eastern European clubs are always difficult to gauge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, plenty of Macedonian and within their squad there's Bosnian, Macedonian, probably, a lot of them you would say, Slovenian, a lot of them in that area they pull in, which would be a talented pool of footballers. Too, you would have thought. So just to I suppose have a look at all the teams that we have. So the Finnish team is FC Honka, that we could place. They're mostly renowned for their youth setup. So there's over 1,000 youth players playing in different age groups within their club. One thing I did note was in 2015 they had financial issues and got relegated down to their third tier. So they're building themselves back up again. Obviously they're back in the top tier now. They do have a European record. They've played 17 games. They've won 5, drawn 3, lost 9. Conceded 21 and scored 14. So look, a bit of a mixed bag there. Probably no better than ourselves, you would have said on that. Probably a bit more of a team building themselves back up. But you could say that we're probably could be going in the opposite direction on that, on the basis of that. So I don't know if that's anything to go by. Pingu, you mentioned Newtown AFC before. So they're a Welsh team based in Newtown in Wales. So pretty much in the middle of Wales. Essentially, they finished 7th in their overall division, but they split their division into 2 tiers, and whoever finishes top of the bottom tier gets to compete in this competition this year. One thing of note, I suppose, that they did beat Maltese opposition in 2015-16 across. Actually, they won both legs of that. They have a small European record as well. They played 8 times in Europe, only winning twice against that Maltese team who we mentioned before. Drawn 1, lost 5, only scored 6 and conceded 21. So, yeah, like you say, Pingu already, it's probably the weaker opposition in there, if not maybe the Luxembourg team.
Yeah, you would think the Luxembourg teams we've always had success against as well. But I just, as I say, we need to nearly concentrate on league form and building up the table too. So I still think the shortest trip is best and get home and get prepared for it, because it's going to be, what European times is like, where we've got a big run of games and we're going to need to use the squad.
Yeah. Guys, I'm just checking the screen here. Still nothing happening on the draw so far. So just to complete out the other 2 teams that we can place. So from Luxembourg is Racing Union. They're based in Luxembourg City, so in the southern part of Luxembourg. They finished 4th in their division, in their Premier Division last year, 12 points behind their leaders. One thing of note for Dundalk players, maybe they finished 9 points ahead and 4 places ahead of Esh, who we played. That was under Fozzie. Were you involved then?
No, I think Esh might have been under Stephen. It was.
Was it?
Yeah, it was Eintracht. Or not Eintracht.
Oh, Eintracht. Yes.
Grevenmacher. Grevenmacher we played.
Grevenmacher's the one I'm thinking. Yes. So the Racing team has a mix of players from Luxembourg, France, Germany, as well as a mix of players from Japan and Congo. No real European pedigree there with them, so it could be a bit of an unknown entity there with them. And last is Mosta of Malta. So they finished 6th in their division, 20 points behind their leaders. Another real mixed bag with regards their first team, with some Brazilians, Argentine, Ghana, Montenegrin. Their manager, Filipovic, is just in his first year as a manager at the moment, so pretty new to this. So if we could get maybe having Vinny's record might actually stand to us there in that one. No real European record for that team either. But that's kind of a look through everything's there. Yeah, I think we need to stay away from the Macedonian team. You would have thought possibly the Finnish team as well. I wouldn't know too much about them. So once again, it's an unknown entity. You would say probably the Newtown and the Racing from Luxembourg. You probably have a better chance against them. Just having a look through some of the comments here. some people coming in on the managerial, someone coming in about the draw itself. So one here, the majority of players, this is about the managerial situation. The majority of players, they probably weren't happy with Vinny, or the ones that are already gone or leaving. Maybe a fresh start. They would rather Rodgers, but either could be a good appointment. We say the Finnish team could be one of the strongest. From Ian Sharkey there. Some people looking for Mosta there as well. Actually, good for you looking for that. And I think the floor could be on the way now. So give me 2 seconds. I will refresh and see. So, I mean, I suppose, Pingu, for yourself there, the job now, I suppose, for the incoming manager, let's face it, it's going to be probably in the next few days. You're going to have a European campaign coming on you very quickly. You have a league campaign, which is slipping away. What's the priority and where do we go?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I was just thinking about that before you asked me, is what would we prioritise? I mean, probably from an ownership point of view, they're going to prioritise Europe because there's obviously more money at stake, but I think from a manager's point of view, look, we need to get up the table and fast, because at the minute we're just getting closer and closer to that playoff position, and it looks like the teams around us are improving. When you look at Waterford the other night, like I said on the pod on Friday, I'm not excited about the Longford game. I wish we had a Rovers or a Pats to play instead. But look, if it was me as manager, I'd be. You kind of have to give them both equal, but I just think that the owners are going to put pressure on a positive European run. Yes.
Well, look, and it's probably going to come down to where, for them, the financial return from Europe is probably the be all and end all to them, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Well,
so they need as much bang for their buck as they can get.
Like I say, if we go through 8 games in Europe and don't make the conference, it's $1 million. If we play the next 20 games in the league or whatever many.
You're dropping away there, pal. I'll wait till I get you back.
So
you're all right.
You can hear me there?
Yeah, no, I can hear you now. Yeah, you were just broke up a little on that part there. I'll definitely have to.
No worries. Yeah, no, I was just saying that. I was just saying on the financial point of view, I think 8 games in Europe outweighs the rest of the league campaign, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that's probably how our ownership will be looking at it. And look, that might be a good thing for the team as well, because a good European run might take pressure off offloading some of the players, and that we're fearing that we're going to lose.
True. So bear with me on this thing, as I seem to have blocked some sort of a screen sharing on this, so we might have to do it ourselves as we're going here. I have a funny feeling. I'll see if I can resolve this screen sharing issue. Everyone else now in a second. So at the moment they're just talking about the Europa Conference League anyway. For the moment, so there's not a whole lot happening. So bear with us on this. What do you think of the restructuring of the Europa competition this year? It seems like you've just tried to get rid of all the minnow teams and put them back into a smaller competition to help out the bigger teams. Is that how it seems to you?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they're doing, But look, if it gives Irish clubs the chance of European competition, albeit with lower level players, it can only benefit the league. Like, that prize money is only going to benefit the league. So, it's not great. You're missing out on the games against the likes of an Arsenal potentially and things like that. But I just think from the point of view of the league, if it means we have more teams making European competition every year, then I'm all for it.
Yeah. It's a good point. Bear with me. They have it on a smaller screen on theirs, but I will share that up. Is my next priority here.
Winners progress automatically to the last 16, while the runners-up compete in knockout round playoffs for the 2021-22 season. Joining the UEFA Champions League and UEFA Europa League,
Still nothing happened on the actual draw itself, so we're okay.
to compete on a European stage
moment.
and an inspirational new path to European glory. 184 teams will compete in the inaugural edition of the Europa Conference League, with at least one side from each of UEFA's 55 associations, making our club competitions more inclusive than
I'm not
ever.
too sure they're going to allow me. Good old UEFA with their shocking, with their blocking of anything. I might let us do it this way. So everybody, sorry about this. Just bear with me for a second.
The sound was
We
working.
can talk through as we're going anyway, if needs be, Pingu. For it, what we could do is, I think I can just share my desktop on this.
Then
So,
the excitement really starts.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
3 rounds.
The draw is just
I can hear you.
Dundalk through Newtown.
Newtown. So there we go. So
They were listening.
I'm listening to you. So on the basis of that, then we'll take that.
Absolutely, yeah.
So am I right in saying the games for that take place on the 8th and the 15th?
I believe so, yeah.
So look, happy days. Apologies we couldn't get the draw up on that. Old UEFA had blocked where we can actually get it. So loads of people coming in here we're heading to Wales. So yeah, look, I think that's probably the best we could have wanted. In Sharky, they're saying that Bowes and Sligo are heading to place Icelandic opposition, so that won't be easy for either of those. Glentoran are playing New Saints from Wales, so there's a fair bit coming through. So look, I think that's good, a good opportunity for us to get through to the next round on that. I'm quite happy. That's the one you wanted, Pingu.
Yeah, I think that's one of the better draws we could have gotten.
Yeah. Look, apologies we weren't able to share the screen up on that one and get it across. But look, that's good old UEFA block everything.
Are we going to Oriel Park now live, Chris? Because I think Gally and Steph are there to do a draw.
Gally and Steph are on standby waiting for smoke. Not a hope. I'd say even if we went there to look for it, there could be a change of decision fairly quickly. So
yeah.
So I look with current situations with COVID, we don't know how this is going to play out. Will there be anybody allowed on either venue for that just yet? I don't think there has been a decision made on that, has there?
Not that I'm aware. You'd hope that the 100 fans would be allowed back in Oriel at least for the game, but I don't think any decision been made yet.
So it'll be it's something we'll just keep a someone give it just. I think anyone looking for the stream for the draw, it's on UEFA's website. If you just go onto UEFA's website, it's there if you want to go down through the rest of it there. I think Dan Pope has just put in there saying there could be 200 fans available to come into grounds come July, obviously depending on the suppression of the virus at that stage. So look, we wait and see. A good draw for Dundalk on that one. I think that's the one we were hoping for. Short distance to travel, and hopefully an opposition that we can challenge against and get through to another round. It's all about getting through as many rounds as we can, get some money in as well. help the stable footing of the club, whatever goes on, one way or the other. And it's a big thing now for the manager. I think they've been given a tie in Europe that's feasible to get something from. So I think that's something to build on as well. And you'd like to hope that whoever we can get in, that there will be a chance for them now to really galvanise the players. There's something to galvanise around, and if that's European, that maybe kicks us on in the league, we'll take that, won't we?
Absolutely, yeah. Look, it's players shouldn't need any motivation to play in Europe. So you would hope that this might be something that the manager can piggyback off that and galvanise the squad, and whatever way the squad looks in a couple of weeks, just galvanise it to be ready and to perform in Europe and for the rest of the season, and as I say, build us up the league table as well.
Yeah, exactly. Look, Pingo, I suppose we'll be back to the usual podcast on Friday. Well, you will be anyway. I don't know where I'll be. If I'm away at a family thing, but if I can do something and get on at some stage, I'll do that for you anyway. But until then, what do we do when we've no Steph, no Gally, no nothing here? I think you're ending this one tonight or today.
No gaffer, no party.
There we go. Thanks, Pingo. Talk to everyone next time.